I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. And it sure as hell feels like Armageddon, doesn't it? When the constants we have known most of our lives are no more, it just feels like the end of the world is here. We lost two of the greatest in the last couple of months, Prince, and now the actual greatest, Muhammad Ali. Bigger than life, larger than a legend, and twice as fast. Ali literally changed the planet. Now, this update will not cover the legend that is the greatest, because you can just find that on YouTube all day long. No, this podcast is going to ask a question. Why aren't you the greatest? Isn't it interesting to know that Ali had the guts and the heart and the courage to take a stand? A tremendous stand during the Vietnam War. He gave up his career and a possibility of ever doing what he was born to do just because he wasn't willing to kill little yellow people because, as he said, they never did anything to him. He changed his name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali because his birth name was a slave name. He also didn't do this at a time when an ex-Olympic athlete is considered a hero for getting boobs or some asshole billionaire thinks he can be president. No, Muhammad Ali did it when the Klan still had billboards and its own breakfast cereal, Klan Crunch. It was white corn, white oats with a sprinkling of vanilla frosting. It's good. Ali stood up when, as a black man, standing up meant you could be swinging from a tree. See, I can't remember when I did something that scary and courageous. And Ali never thought he was just a boxer. He sang on Broadway, he acted. I think when it comes to social issues, he was easily as poignant and funny as Lenny Bruce and a better rapper than Kanye. Ali was hilarious. So please, after this podcast, look at some of the stuff he did with Howard Cosell and some of the interviews. They're ridiculous. He tore it up. Opponents never knew how to respond, and interviewers didn't know how to respond, and no one knew how to respond. And the few times Ali got knocked down in the ring, he's the only one who had a response, and it was always a comeback. There are people in this role we watch and think, wow, that is the next level. That is a human being I could never become. Why? I mean, Prince was just a small kid who had epilepsy, but he spent hours and hours playing guitar and learning other instruments. Just another human being made of blood, bone, hair, skin, and thought. He just thought he could. He thought he could be the best rock star in the world, and he ended up that. So whether you believe he was or not, it doesn't matter. He believed it. Ali said he was the greatest long before he was or any of us believed it. And he wasn't given the title of greatest. He took the title. In this life, people, nothing is done unless you say it. If you could, what would you say about yourself? Your biggest dream. What do you want to be greatest at? Find it, state it, keep speaking it, and maybe one day a continent, hell, a planet will know you are what you say you are. The greatest of all time. Rumble, young man, rumble. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Hey everybody, Titus Podcast. Christopher Titus speaking on this end. With me, as always, to the right, looking sexy as hell, Bombshell Rae.
What's up, people?
And to the left, looking fuzzy, Fetus.
Hey!
There you go. Yeah, man. So everybody's covering how great Ali was and this and that, and I thought, why should I cover that? You know, we all know he was great. I think no one you would, even if you hated Ali, you just knew he was one of the greatest, most obnoxious.
I wouldn't say that I necessarily knew that.
What? You didn't?
I mean, I've heard people say he was one of the greatest, but I don't know.
He was the greatest of all time. You know, he could swing left, swing right, come down the pike.
You didn't know?
See, in my era, my generation was more of the shaky Ali generation. So it's more like...
Okay, so do we need to go over it a little bit for you then? Okay, so Muhammad Ali was the boxer.
Okay.
He took out Sonny Liston. He took out the baddest dudes, and he did it obnoxious. He wasn't this guy. Yeah, I think the fight's going to go pretty well. When the guy step in the ring, I'm going to hit him. He's going to hit me. And eventually, after 12 rounds, we're going to see who the winner is.
I would love to watch that guy.
That's Leon Spinks, by the way. Ali fought that guy, too. So the problem is that Ali was like, he was
float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm so pretty. Fought that man 15 rounds, and I've never been prettier in my life. But he's ugly. He was ugly when he stepped in the ring. He's ugly when he step out. Don't step in with me. You made a mistake, son. You made a mistake.
And he talked shit like nobody talked shit. And he rapped a lot of his shit talk.
So no one liked him.
It's weird. He was still immensely likable. There was some people that didn't like him, thought he was obnoxious. That being said, that was just his boxing stuff.
Right.
The boxing stuff was one thing.
He was a draft dodger, right? I knew that.
He was a draft. Well, he did it on religious grounds. He was a Muslim. He was Cassius Clay.
I knew, yep.
Okay, and he said, I'm not going to go kill a bunch of yellow people that never hurt me.
He called him yellow.
something like that. Little brown people. He said something like that. He was a little racist as he said it.
Got it.
But he's black. I guess it has to be racist. And in a time when a big deal was civil rights, he changed his name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. He rattled the cage all the time.
He went to jail, right, for draft dodging.
I don't know.
Throw your
he
ring
dodge
into
drafted.
that.
He dodge drafted.
He dodge drafted. Yep. You don't know. Okay.
I don't think
Carry
he
on.
went to prison. No, but he was stripped of his title. He's told he could never fight again.
Okay.
And you know what he did?
What?
He stuck to his guns. And he said, I'm not gonna go kill him. It was against his religion. And he stood for it, And that being said, changing his name, all that stuff. At a time when civil rights was a big deal, he was one of the leaders. And then he got reinstated and blah blah blah.
Yeah, well, he did. He actually appealed. He did get convicted. He lost all of his titles. He appealed 4 years later. He didn't get to fight for 4 years, which would have been at the peak of his career.
Right.
But it was too late.
And he still won the title 3 times. See, but that's not what I'm talking about today. So now we kind of know he was great worldwide. Like he would go. He owned Africa. Frazier or Foreman? Who did he fight? Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier in Africa, right?
Yeah, it was Frazier. That was the crazy fight.
And they were like, Ali Boumaye, kill him. He had an entire continent on him, and he was the greatest of all time when it came to boxing and the theater of boxing and what was going on. Now, my thought was this as I was writing this the other night. My thought was he wasn't the greatest of all time. He wasn't the greatest of all time, yet he said he was. Here's my point. So so the distinction for me is Ali said he was the greatest of all time and he reached an incredibly high level. I think by saying it, he created it. And you think the greatest of all time doesn't mean the best?
Yeah, I think there's a distinction between being the greatest and being the best. Like for example, if we talk football real quick, Joe Montana is probably the greatest quarterback of all time, but you could argue that via skill set that Dan Marino was the best quarterback, even though he never won a Super Bowl. Because you can talk about raw skill, raw ability. So Ali may not have been the best.
Rachel, he's talking. Rachel.
Ali may not have been the best boxer ever in terms of talent, but he was certainly, I think, the greatest in terms of atmosphere, his aura, his ability, all those things. Okay.
Hey, wake up.
It's a common sports debate. I know this isn't a sports podcast, but
No, it's not even that. It's that you could. Okay, so no, it's your actually voice just put us to sleep. It had nothing to do with what you're talking about. It was entirely just.
My boxing name would be Sandman.
See, just my tone. Watch. Hey, see, put her to sleep.
Right.
But if you went like this, now Muhammad Ali was a great boxer, but Holyfield, of course, no, check this. Holyfield won the title 5 times.
What?
5 times. It's about performance.
All about performance. Well, that's why I'm just the assistant.
All about performance.
So I don't want to talk about Ali anymore because we get it. He was the
Thank
greatest of all
God.
time. Prince was the greatest of all time. Prince.
We could talk about Prince.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that
We're not.
these people who talk about who they are,
Yep.
I'm the baddest, I'm the greatest, I will own this.
Get their asses kicked in the cafeteria.
Kanye West talks a lot of shit about himself, and he backs it up. Doesn't matter. He created, I'm the baddest ass beat maker on the planet.
Beat maker? Did he say beat maker?
I'm sure he did.
Hi, guys.
3 beats a day
I'm
for
the beat maker.
7 beats a day for 3 summers. 5 beats a day, whatever he said. That's the lyric in the
Oh,
song.
no.
So he's the beat maker. So it's Kanye West being the beat maker. He lays down the tracks.
Christopher Titus.
He lays down the
beat
tracks.
maker. That's what you're doing when you're laying down tracks. You're being a beat maker.
I'm the greatest beat maker too. As a matter of fact, I am the greatest beat maker, and I want to turn this. I'm saying it. I am the greatest beat maker
When
laying
I
down
asked
the tracks.
you, I wish people could see you, because when I asked you if you just said beat maker and then you heard that you just said beat maker, just the panic in your eyes.
And the pink and the blush. Yeah, I know. And that, just own it. You said beat maker.
You know what
I could edit it. Just so you know, I
You
could
know what I
just,
saw
could
in
kill
your
it right
eyes?
now.
I will never hear the end of this.
No,
a
no,
lot of people don't know because these have fallen off, but in, I think, the first couple months of these podcasts, you said the phrase, my dad used to hang out with a lot of hot firemen.
Yeah.
And
right.
then you argued that you never said that,
and then
so
you
we
guys
had to
replay
play it back.
That was great.
Yeah.
I was talking about how it doesn't
Please
matter.
tell us.
Doesn't
Please explain beat making. to
So you lay
us.
down the beats. Here's how it is. You can beatbox it.
Oh,
See, that's how I lay down beats when I'm a beat maker.
Uh-huh.
So Kanye West said he was the greatest rapper, this and that.
I would say find a happy medium. I know that you're not supposed to put a damper, but here, look, I'll just, like Kanye West, well, maybe it wasn't that he got too cocky. Maybe it was just that he was brought down by a damn woman. Yoko Ono number 2. Because he was great, and actually I did like him, and then he got with big booty hoe, and now he's...
Yoko Ono Dashian, is what you're saying?
I can't stand him. I can't... He's like... He thinks he's Jesus. Or Yeezus.
Yeah, he thinks he's Jesus.
I can't stand him.
Okay, but I also think that Ollie did the same thing. I think.
Well, I found
nobody,
him really
nobody
annoying.
walks the earth thinking they're Jesus. I think it's a marketing thing. Prince, called himself the purple Yoda too.
Loved him.
I think, yeah.
He looked like Yoda though, and he wore purple. At least it was relevant.
I don't know if it was relevant, but it was accurate.
He was super cute. I loved him. And actually I would argue Prince didn't go around telling people and doing interviews saying, I'm Jesus, bow down. Prince went around with humility and said, there is a Jesus, bow down. And I got my gift from him. He never took credit for everything. Kanye West is trying to take credit for the Liberty Bell being he tries to own everything. He's disgusting. I can't stand him. Sorry. I'm boycotting him. I'm the only person in the world boycotting him, so he has no idea. Plus, I stole all his albums anyway. I didn't pay for them, so whatever.
So you actually stole money from him anyway.
It's a silent protest, except I'm being lippy about it.
And listening to his music, weirdly enough.
I don't listen to his music. I
No,
quit.
no.
That's what I mean by boycotting. I quit listening to his music.
Period.
But
do you understand that
semicolon.
because he has talked so much about himself, a lot of people are sheep and get on board and follow? And also, he probably raises himself before the public decided he was the greatest. He said it in his bedroom when he was beat making.
Just like you.
Yeah, just like me.
Aunt Kathy says you used to beat make in the garage and in the shower.
Okay, so she's talking about when I was doing comedy, I used to go in the garage for 2 hours. I wasn't beat making. This is changing dramatically at this point. It's not the same thing as when you were beat making. Your dad came in out of the plunger.
Much different beat making.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah, I was actually writing comedy, and I would be rehearsing in the shower.
I was writing
all the
comedy
time.
too.
Yeah, you were. You just didn't know it. Your dad knew you were writing comedy.
Oh boy.
Didn't you buy a little box and a
plunger.
microphone?
I did. I had a boom box with a microphone that came out, and I would do my comedy into it. Stand in the it was on a stool, and I would stand in the garage because it was a microphone stand, and I would actually do comedy into it over the same set over and over. Because I knew when I got on
What
stage.
was that set? Do you remember?
I do remember. It was Clint
it.
Eastwood. Clint Eastwood as president was
How
the
did
closer.
you open? Give us your opening.
Yeah, I know what you guys are thinking. Richie Cunningham and Elroy Jetson had a baby. That was the opening joke. And then I did a thing about. I did a couple of songs. I did the Clint Eastwood president. I did a song to We Are the Champions about Ronald Reagan because
So
Ronald Reagan was president.
Making.
I was totally beat making. And wow, people love on the podcast. They love when she grafts onto something two stupid words and rides it and
Not
literally
be able to let
just
it go.
starts surfing it.
When you said,
I've learned to now jump in now. Just
when I first met you and you said that fellow is sporting a sag.
Sporting a sag. Oh my God! I didn't say fellow. I said he's sporting a sag. I didn't say fellow. I didn't.
Even
I was
mean?
not from Victorian England at the time. I didn't go. Oh my word! That man is that fellow is sporting a sag. It's dapper and fine. His finery. It shows his sag.
Okay, but sporting is a word that man might say. Sporting. You said sporting instead of busting.
Deep down, I am just a 16-year-old dork, and it will never change. Nobody becomes a comedian because they're cool. Nobody does. Now, people think they're cool because they're a comedian, but they're dorks, and that's why we became comedians.
Interesting.
Yeah, that ended up with you is frightening, because you're really a dork deep down.
Totally.
Yeah. But
I
no one
really
knows
am.
that. But no one knows that.
And deep down, I have a pot scrubber bangs that I spent 37 minutes quaffing, teasing, and spraying with Aquanet, and half of my hair is tightly permed and the other half just won't hold on to curl, so it's just mildly wavy. And they don't make pants long enough for me yet because it's in the early 90s, so
Right.
all of my pants are approximately 1.5 inches too short, which is not short enough to be cool.
Cool, right.
Yeah. And
You
my
just look
feet
like
are
Gilligan. You
huge,
look
and
like-
I weigh 84 pounds, and Yeah, deep down, that's who lives.
But let me my point of today's podcast, which we're never going to get to, ever.
If it has nothing to do with you saying beat making, I'm not ready to go there
I know
yet.
you're not ready to go there yet. So, for a long time doing stand-up, you had a problem with it. You. No, I don't mean.
Period.
I don't mean you weren't. Yeah, and moving on. Yes. But you never thought you were a comedian.
Oh
you thought you were faking it. No, I'm just. And then one day you said, "I'm a comedian."
I have faked it a lot.
No, you were doing comedy because they were laughing. It's only faking it when, like, comics. When comics get on stage, get off and go, "I killed," and you were in the room and they tanked. That's faking it.
Do you know how many I was actually making a sexual joke, but we can move on. Do you know how many
Better
comedians...
not be faking it ever.
You know how
I'm out.
many
I'm pulling the
comedians-
ripcord. I'm done.
Do you know how many comedians, when I was running clubs, would say that? They would think that they killed when they got off stage.
When they tanked.
Yeah, it was really amazing. And see, my parents put shame and
Humiliation.
just a massive amount of guilt into me.
Yeah.
I even said, this was the
right?
thing
Yeah.
I
See,
said
look
on
at
stage.
it. He's even, yeah.
Shame-based childhood is what I had. And because we weren't Southern Baptist, we were like, I don't even know what we were. Set fire to you because you're going to hell anyway. Something. Faith evangelical, I don't know.
Snake handlers.
That dude that I got busted imitating during church, yeah, he would hang off the pulpit and point and scream, and his face would get so red and spit would come out and his eyes would water.
You got to follow Jesus.
Well, he
Because
wasn't.
if you don't, Satan will follow you, and Satan will catch you, grab you by your neck, rip your head off, and shit in your neck. Can I have an amen?
Amen.
This is intense.
Yeah.
That
But
guy.
I was out in the audience imitating him, and I got in trouble for that. But anyway,
Your mom still tells this story.
so guilt-based. The joke that I just wrote when we were in Denver was so much guilt when I was growing up that even now when I have consensual sex, I call the cops. It's like that's the kind of childhood that I had. And, oops, I almost knocked things over. So when I first got on stage and for, even now, I get off stage, even if it's great, I'm like, oh, it wasn't that great.
That means you're a comic.
Go to work.
That's a
I
real
suck.
that's a real comic though. I get off stage after
myself.
standing ovation, and there were 3 people that didn't stand up. I'm like, what's those 3 people's problem in the back? Fuck those people. Everyone else stood up. Why didn't
You
they stand
always
They're all
see
blind.
those people.
Huh?
They're all blind.
They're
They didn't
blind,
know
that's
everyone
what
was
they-
standing up.
Yeah, totally. So that's why
What are people doing now?
looking back now and thinking about those comics, constantly thinking that they were killing, I just think, like, what am I missing? That I mean,
No, it's happened when I
it's
started.
these fat teenage girls wearing half shirts now. What are you doing? You got a freaking donut hanging over your skinny jeans that are in size 16. If they are above a size 12, they're not skinny jeans. They're just fat jeans with stretch in them. Like, for real, cover that shit up and have a little shame.
There you go. And humiliation. See now, Fetus is getting very nervous right now. We have someone. The fat people of the world have engineered something amazingly. They've engineered that it's a disability. B, it's they can't control it, and C, it's a disease. Okay, so they've engineered something that is entirely controlled by exercise and diet, entirely, 100%. And yet, someone in our family had a thyroid issue. They didn't get fat; they just got tired. So and you just got nervous. You got nervous as she was saying that she got nervous. You got nervous.
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Well, I mean, it's one thing to like talk to somebody about their weight and that they're overweight and everything, but I do get a little something when people are talking down on someone else. Yep.
A little more performance.
Sorry.
Help us out a little bit. Go to your.
Rachel's bullying. She's bullying.
I'm just saying, she's not bullying.
It's kind of bullying.
No, she's
Okay,
not.
no. Specifically, I was not talking to any one person. I'm talking to people as a group, and I will say this.
Everybody's been.
I am creating the distinction and pointing out the distinction between myself and other people who have shame and awareness of what I cover myself. It's a difference. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that these teenagers should be out in their Uggs with their gut hanging over their Daisy Dukes while their Daisy Dukes are cut up their butt crack so that you can see. I mean, it's like, that's what I'm talking about.
So my father put into me as a kid.
Let him. I'd love to hear what he has to
but
say.
I was a fat kid, and my dad never nonstop. What's up, fatso? Fat ass. Like, literally. So I have that's a tape that plays in my head all the time now. You know, and we've taught an entire 2 generations that it's okay. You be who you're going to be.
He's from that generation.
He's from that generation. That's why.
Everything about you is perfect.
Perfect, and you're going to be so good, and you're going to be special, and you're going to succeed, and you're going to be the best ever. Don't you worry about that. There's 2 generations like that. And now we've got Donald Trump as president. Now, I will say this. His generation likes Bernie, though. They actually hear authenticity, though.
It creates a lack of striving.
They're also not as fucked up as we are. They're happy without. See, you and I are never happy. At least they're happy.
They're not going to be happy when they're on a motorized scooter on oxygen because they were perfect all the way up till they were 900 pounds.
And they had their feet cut off. You were perfect up until the diabetes got your feet cut off. Sorry. Not so perfect anymore.
Look, he can't stand it. Look, he's fake smiling now.
No,
he's fake smiling.
No, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to join our bully conversation. Is what he's doing. He's laughing because he understands we're correct, but he doesn't want to join in.
Bullying, I think, I almost feel like bullies. I hate the word bully anyway. Like, get over yourself, right? I had a chick, and I'll say, I've probably told you about Fat Lindsey Brown.
Mm-hmm. Fat,
and the Tweety Bird.
Lindsey Brown, the fattest girl in the whole damn town. Fatter than old King Kong. Meaner than a junkyard dog.
So, but I didn't call it bullying. I called it character building. And I moved on, and then I rubbed her face in it when I went home after college. And that's how you do it. It's not bullying. It's character building.
I just think that this whole we did the fat cast, by the way. People who listen know what side we're on this. We just want you to be healthy. But when you actually start to avoid being healthy, you start calling people fat shaming. And basically, for every 20 pounds or 10 pounds on your body that you're supposed to you're losing like 5 years of life for every year you keep that on. You're just going to die sooner. And that you go, well, you're fat shaming. No, we're not fat shaming. You're actually obese. You shouldn't be fat.
I think you're missing the point.
Right.
I'm not fat shaming. I'm specifically addressing the fact that I have to look at your jelly dough hanging out of your butt crack shorts, and I'm tired of it. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't say a word about they shouldn't eat so much. Didn't say a word about I'm saying have some shame and cover it up. That's all I'm saying.
If your belly button in the air around it looks like a really plump bagel, you should probably wear a shirt.
Just cover it up.
There you go. That's all I'm saying. Is that
cover
what you're saying?
it up.
There you go.
What about the rest of us? Right? Why do only certain people have rights? What about my right? That's all I'm saying.
To be able to keep your Chipotle burrito down.
Thank you.
There you go.
Cover it up. Tell your little friends from your little Generation Z or whatever it is.
I want you to call all your little friends from your little generation and tell them they are not the greatest.
They don't call each other. They only text and other things.
I Skype.
It's a Snapchat generation.
We have gotten so far off the subject. I don't
even know what we're talking about.
Well, okay, so let's go this. What we were talking. Well, you're scared. You're scared.
When she
amps up like that, you get scared.
Well, there's no winning. She's significantly smarter than I am.
Who are you telling? Yeah. There's no winning. Who are you telling?
I'm just trying to get somewhere with him, and he's going nowhere.
No, I understood everything you said. I got it. You were right.
Mm-hmm. So, you want to be a movie director?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. One day I'm gonna. Well, one day never comes. Here's one day. They keep moving at the same rate. I will be a movie director by this date. Let's go to. That's what I'm saying about Muhammad Ali. Said he was the greatest well before he was. Before he'd won the championship, he was. I'm the greatest of all time. He kept saying it, and then he won the championship.
Didn't you say on the last podcast though that people who are the best at something don't say they're the best at things?
I'm just saying that before you're the best at something, he didn't say it later on in life. He said it at the beginning.
I think there's a difference between. I think Muhammad Ali definitely walked the line because some of the clips I've seen over the weekend, he annoyed the crap out of me. I was like, yeah, blah blah, got it, Kanye. But I think like what you're saying is there's a difference between saying I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can and someday I am going to be known as the best director. And I think it always helps when you attach a public service thing to it, like some way that you're going to make a difference. I think that helps. I think that's kind of how Prince was. I think Muhammad Ali and Kanye are more like what you're talking about, where they're like, I'm the best thing ever. I'm this, I'm that.
No. Ali, you don't get to put Ali in the Kanye West vein because Ali raised money for charity. He gave a ton of money to charity.
He's addressing what you said, and I think it was last week where you said the people that What was it that he said?
It's I think you said the people who are the best at something don't say they're the best at something. They just
do it.
They just do it.
And they get noticed as
Yes.
that.
They've got humility.
I think that comes with doing it, though. At the beginning, when you're an arrogant asshole as a kid, all right. Let me be clear what I mean. Do you remember when I lost Titus? The divorce happened. I had done fifth annual. We're doing it, and I said after this, I'm going to do a comedy special every year and a half, and I'm going to be known as one of the best comics working.
See what I mean? It's different. You're not saying, I am the best comic. Everybody loves me. I'm the best. You weren't.
It's a goal rather than a boast.
I'm
Exactly.
saying it now. I am one of the best comics working.
Oh, jeez. Okay, well, we're getting nowhere.
No, we are getting somewhere. I'm just saying. All right, so maybe my point is this. Don't be afraid to pat yourself on the back. Don't be afraid to say you're going to be the best. Or are you going to? Maybe that's the distinction, you know?
No, we don't get it.
It's okay.
Please explain.
All right.
Because you're confused.
No, you guys, if I said it last week, here, I can't backtrack. I can't be Trump. I got to face what I said. I'm not Trump. I got to face what I said. I can't just go, well, that's not what I meant. He said, hey, the Mexican judge is ripping me off, and he shouldn't be judging my case. And then yesterday he says, well, that's not what I meant. No, I'm sorry. We have what you said. We recorded on 12 different kinds of technology. That's what you said, asshole. So if that's what I said, I'm saying this. So many people I could never be because of their parents. I could never be this. I'm never going to be good enough. I could never be the greatest of all time. That's bullshit. Say, I'm going to be the greatest of all time. I'm sure Ali said that. I'm going to be the greatest of all time. I'm going to beat Sonny Liston down. And he did. So you have to say it before you can do it. You have to say it before you. So whatever you want to be, I'm telling you, you did not like stand-up comedy until the day you said, I am a stand-up comedian. The day you said it.
Yeah, but I didn't say I am the best ever. I'm the Jesus. There's a difference, right? Like Prince didn't go around telling everybody when he met them how wonderful he was.
I'm sorry. Justin Timberlake just revealed a song, I'm Bringing Sexy Back. Without being prompted, Prince put out a statement that said, sexy never left.
Right. Yeah.
What do you mean? That's the same as I'm the greatest of all time. Sexy.
How is that the same as I'm the greatest of all time, saying sexy never left?
He's talking about himself. Doesn't that infer that he's better than Justin Timberlake? Doesn't that infer that?
No, and actually
no?
what I got, well, he is, but actually what I got from
That's valid.
was not that he was saying that he was sexy. I was saying, I got that he was saying in general, what are you talking about? Sexy never left.
No, he was saying to him.
Smooth. But even if he was, he didn't say, I'm the greatest of all time and sexy is still around, Mr. Timberlake. I disagree with you today.
I can go down every song that Prince did. And he brags like crazy. My name is Prince, and I am funky. That whole song
I am
was a
funky. Look how cute he is.
Rock and roll is
monkey.
alive, and it lives in Minneapolis. I mean, it's like he's talking about himself.
But he's calling himself funky, and he called himself rock and roll.
Okay.
Tell me where he said.
That's all I'm saying. My point is this. Damn it. Don't be afraid to brag a little on yourself or to set a higher goal, but it doesn't happen unless you say it. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, Bombshell's writing the Armageddon update. Don't you think it's cool? Isn't that great?
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear Bombshell's Armageddon update.
They love it when Bombshell does it anyway.
Nothing to do with.
She'll start a week in advance too. I pound them out the week.
It's nothing to do with the Armageddon update. It's more to do with conflicting statements.
It's not conflicting.
Titus pointed out.
It's not conflicting.
And frankly, I want to hang out with the guy that actually just is the best but doesn't talk about it all the time.
Yeah, but when you start out, listen, before you do anything, when I was a young comic, I
heard
had to
about
say
you.
I was obnoxious.
Yes.
I was obnoxious. And you know what? Then there was a day I became, you can't make it happen. You can't be good at something to say I'm going to be good at something.
What did you become?
I was an asshole.
After obnoxious. What came after obnoxious?
Can I take a
less
swing?
so. Can I take a swing? Yeah, she's punching me in the face. Might as well.
No, I'm gonna take a swing at interpreting what you mean. So, when you're just starting out, you want to set a goal, saying that you're going to be the best.
If you're sitting there by yourself and you're
Right.
like, I'm never doing anything in my life. Pick something and say it loud.
Yes.
Declare it.
And
Declare it.
when-
I am going to be the best at what this. And
then when you're on that road, when you're traveling
Once
that
you know what
journey
you're
to
doing.
be the best, you shouldn't boast about saying you are the best when you haven't finished your journey yet, and when you're still working at it, because that comes off that
Yeah.
there's no humility there.
Once you've proven you are, shut the fuck up.
And then, right. Once you've proven you are, then you say, shut the fuck up. However, but you've said it's okay that Ali can talk about it and Prince can talk about it and these other guys can talk about how they're the greatest and the best.
No.
That was terrible. Was that supposed to explain everything?
Kanye,
Because that confused me even
Kanye
more.
on his way up boasted.
Right.
Okay, boasted.
Yep.
I don't think he boasted for everybody else. He boasted for himself. I actually don't believe it. Then what happened? It transmogrified into something horrible.
Ooh.
I know. I tried there. It's a cartoon word actually, from a Warner Brothers cartoon. And I think Ali, same thing. Ali didn't. After there was a point, Ali just stopped doing that. He after he'd won like the third title, he just stopped talking like that. It wasn't funny. But on his way up to get attention to become who he was, he had to say that. And I think that's when you start. Listen, if you're 16, 17, and you don't know what you want to do with your life, and you're thinking, I don't want to do, but there's a dream in your head. Okay, I'm going to be the best at this. Set the bar ridiculous. Set a ridiculous bar is what I'm trying to say. Ali set a ridiculous bar when he was a kid, and he did what he said. That's what I'm saying. You got to say it before you can do it. Jesus, we're gonna kill this. This is gonna be the lost episode. We're never airing this. This one is not gonna air. I've
Yeah,
had
it's
a
really
bad day.
confusing.
I spilled my coffee in the middle of it.
You did. You didn't just spill your coffee.
I dumped a venti.
You swung your hand around for effect like you were preaching, and the coffee went sailing.
I was
It's
preaching.
all
I
over
was
the
doing
whiteboard.
I hate you
Oh,
guys.
it is.
I'm done talking. Go ahead.
Oh.
No, I'm done.
Father's Day.
I just wanted to see if Fetus would talk. But he won't, which means he shouldn't be on the microphone. I think you should fire him. What do you want to talk about, Fetus? Oh my gosh, he's retarded. He's mildly retarded. Oh, can I not say retarded either? That's not allowed with your
You
generation
just can't say
either.
fat and retarded.
Oh, fat. Well, I didn't call him a fat retard.
No, I'm just near. That's why you're fine.
Oh, retard.
Go, guys. Run the podcast. Go ahead.
Okay. You want? I'll run the podcast.
Go.
Okay.
So the Democratic primary is basically over. Clinton has essentially clinched the nomination. We're not going to clinched. Or clenched the nomination. I don't know. This is awful. This is the worst thing ever. Yeah.
Oh no, it's riveting. Please.
Is it riveting? Okay, I'm
Please.
going to continue then. I'm just
Okay.
going to keep going.
Okay.
Okay.
Pick up right at clinched.
Clinched.
By the way, some of the best broadcasters of all time, was one of their number one words.
Was it? Fair. So, oh my.
Bombshell, your turn. You take it over.
I'm actually good. We could actually start news if you would like, just to move right through this. I have a dog with a possibly broken leg that I have to get to the vet, so we can just motor right through this news, which I don't happen to have a news story about Hillary Clinton clinching the nomination. But
Here she clinches and scissors. She's a scissor clincher. That's what I heard. Right?
do you know that, speaking of clinching and scissoring...
Before we go any further, declare something great and you can become that. All right? And both of you, we're done. We're not airing this episode. I'm not releasing this.
I agree with declare something, but also I would say take it a step further and declare it. But I don't mean declare in an asshole way like Muhammad Ali
But you know
necessarily
there's-
did. I mean like just say what you're up to and then tell the people around you because they'll hold you accountable.
But here-
Because they'll say, wait, I thought you were enrolling in college. I thought that you were going to get up and do an open mic.
So what about this thing when people, what about this? So people are telling you, like my dad was like, you're never going to be a comedian. What the fuck are you doing? You loser. I'm going to be the best comedian. Fuck you, Dad. I'm going to be the best comedian. I mean, there's a time when you pick something big, it scares people. You know why? Because they don't live big. You got to pick something big, declare it big, and then shoot for a bar higher than you can imagine. You have to shoot for something that scares you. The greatest of all time was the highest that guy could shoot.
Right.
You know?
I get it.
So declare something, but don't, when someone else wins an award at the Grammys, don't walk up and take the mic from them and start talking shit. There's the line, I think.
Got it.
All right? Are we ready?
Thank you.
Fair.
All right. Do you want to continue on with your political
Please do.
diatribe?
Please.
It
Where were
was
you
so
gonna
good.
go
It was
after
great.
that is
Yeah,
what
we
I'm
want to see
dying
where
to
you,
know.
because you had it for like .04 seconds. It was great. You were owned it, and then when you just
I
got
actually have
started
a different tirade. I was going to...
about burning.
Tirade. It was about to be a tirade.
No, I was going to...
You weren't even close to tirade, bro.
No.
and from a ranter, tirade, you're not close.
I have a different thing completely that...
About burning?
No, this is actually about Star Wars. About the reshoots, which have...
They're reshooting Star Wars again?
No, well, there's a bunch of news coming out that a bunch of Disney execs saw the rough cut of Rogue One, the anthology film, which is coming out in December, and they ordered a bunch of reshoots. So the media basically said, oh my God, the Disney execs saw this, and they've ordered them to reshoot 40% of the movie. And so this huge astronomical number, 40% of the movie got kicked around everywhere, and people think that the movie's doomed and that Disney has a tone issue with it. And there are a lot of Star Wars fans out there that want a
dark, edgy,
gritty,
Han
war
Solo-y.
movie.
Yeah. We want something like we want.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't pussificate.
Exactly.
It's
they
Star
want
Wars.
something edgy. So there are kind of two camps here. Camp one is that the movie is too dark and too edgy, and Disney's like, no, it can't be this dark. Redo the whole thing. Camp two is that the director sucks and the movie isn't up to the quality that they want Star Wars
Who's
to
directing
be.
this one?
The guy who directed the Godzilla movie.
Oh, the one that nobody saw.
Exactly, and that's the only major thing he's ever directed.
Why? I don't. Here's what I don't get. Is that agenting? So here's what I think. Whenever I hear executives get involved in any kind of creative process, I never, being a creative person, I don't go, oh, it's got to suck. I go, no, these executives are retards.
Right.
Right.
So, however, Disney's done a really good job staying hands off on things, and I think that 40% number got kicked around, but they're not changing the release date at all. So what I'm assuming is happening is really they're just doing normal reshoots that every movie does, and the media is just looking for some headlines in all this.
Or the movie's mediocre, and instead of reshooting it, they want to get some buzz going, so they get all the people to go to it.
Yes, there's all kinds of stuff going on right now, but regardless of what happened, the Disney execs saw the movie, and they were unhappy with it in some way. That's definitely true.
And this was Star Wars Geek Minute, brought to you by Fetus.
Yeah, well, I
Fetus.
owned this one harder than the political
You
thing.
did. Fetus. He takes subjects that have nothing to do with what we're talking about and runs with them.
You told me to pick something, and I picked what I know. And I only know two things.
Clinches them. Grabs the story,
He's the scissor
clinches
clinch.
it, and runs with it.
Clinch is totally a word. I don't know why you're laughing at it.
Dude, sometimes, you know what she is? She's the pretty chick that just, you did nothing wrong, but laughs at you, and you feel like you're the dorkiest person in the world.
That's exactly what
That's who I married. It's like she can, the other day, I have these white pants. Yeah.
You own white pants?
These white diesel pants, yeah, with flip-flops and a decent shirt for summer. I was wearing, so, now, they've sat in my closet because the first time I put them on, I went in and she went, bah! And just burst out laughing. Yet she wears white pants all the time.
She's a lady.
Oh,
Ouch. Ouch. She's a lady.
haymaker out of nowhere about your white
He
pants.
didn't even know it. Hey, they look good. Did they not?
Yeah, but those are different. The first ones that you got were,
Oh, you like my
were
diesel
white
ones.
mom jeans.
That's true.
And you got them in '07 during Big Shots to wear to a cocktail party at
All white. It was all white
at
party.
the in Malibu. It wasn't all white.
Yeah, no,
I
it was
wore
a-
purple and blue jean things.
It was an all white party.
In your
Sounds
head,
racist.
it was all white, and it actually was that kind of all
Yeah, it
white
was, yeah.
mostly.
Yeah.
But you got those pants because you thought that would go with a beach party in Malibu. And you got a Hawaiian shirt thing. And it was those mom jeans ones. And the reason they were so funny is you loved them so much, but you would put them on at home, and within 5 minutes, they would be covered. Do you remember? You would
Yeah.
have black streaks.
They would have macaroni and cheese on them, and I had macaroni and cheese. Like, there was something about these pants. You put it on, they was literally they were connected to the universe in a way that they had their own gravity. Anything spaghetti sauce? We haven't had spaghetti for, I know, but there's spaghetti sauce on them now.
And you would always be so excited about, bringing out the white pants, and it was that time of year, and
was
you'd put
exci-
them on, and it was that
I was like a
disappointment when you looked down before we left the house and saw.
I was like an autistic kid. I was like, I got my white band on. Here's my white band. I love my white band. My white band is okay. Whee! My white band. My white band. White band.
Can he do that?
Woohoo!
That's okay.
These
Because
are
he's
my.
not fat.
I like
autistic.
my white pants. I like my white pants. This is a happy day, white pants. Mm.
I would hang out with that dude in a heartbeat.
He's joyous.
That's okay though, because he's not fat and autistic in this scenario. So
I don't want to fight about this.
You are what we call
But she's a lady.
a pussy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're a pussy.
Okay. I don't own any white pants, though.
Because you're
That's
not
right,
a
because you
lady.
can't pull them off.
I
'Cause you're not a
definitely
lady.
cannot.
Even if you were a woman, you'd be no lady.
No.
I look
Nope.
good the other day. My white diesel, my
did.
flip flops
You
on.
upped your game. You got some diesel white jeans.
This is going to be the most embarrassing podcast we've ever done.
Actually
Titus,
enjoying it immensely.
Titus has been, shut up, you.
You're 6'2". You're blonde.
Wearing white pants, and I'm a very pretty man.
Yep,
Yeah.
you were. By the way, if you haven't seen that special, go to ChristopherTitus.com. You can get all of the discs there. Also, we're filming Born with a Defect at the Center Theater in Escondido on July 9th, a 7
Near
o'clock
San Diego,
and a
yep.
10 o'clock. And if you can't remember that, just remember ChristopherTitus.com. All of the ticketing links are on the website.
Yeah, guys, if you want to see the show when it's the best, I always wait till it's really super tight, then we film it. Go to Escondido, July 9th. It's in the summer. We're going to have a kick-ass party. We designed the sets. We had the meeting for the production. It's going to be amazing. I have an idea. I'll talk to you. Maybe I'll announce it next week. I have an idea for the people that show up. So Escondido, 7 and 10?
7 and 10.
7 and 10. Hope my voice sticks for this show.
Revolution at that theater. You
My
lost
voice-
your voice second show, and you did the whole show whispering.
Like Harvey Firestein.
But you did it with passion.
By the way, guys, follow us on Twitter at Titus Nation, at Ray Bradley, and at The Ryan Farmer. Follow me on Facebook at The Real Christopher Titus. Also go to ChristopherTitus.com. Please, and if you're going to go to Amazon, click through ChristopherTitus.com to click our Amazon link. It helps us. If you don't want to donate to the podcast, where you get all these free hilarious mocking of the captain, frankly. Mutiny. It's mutiny today. Today was a mutiny. There was a mutiny today, as I'm going to come calling it. But click through the Amazon link, and then we get a little something for that. You can subscribe to Christopher Titus TV on YouTube for weekly videos, and review us on iTunes. Go to iTunes. You know, I had the idea.
He's less of a mutiny. He's more of a pirate because he totally stole and took over that microphone.
Yeah, he totally did. No, we let him on. He's earned it. Come on, he's been
I don't
sitting.
think we let him on.
He's been sitting in the corner for like a year.
He's had a year. You've had a year to listen and practice your voice and your speaking and possibly to roll or to clinch it and run with the podcast if given the opportunity.
And I failed.
Horribly.
Tripped off the starting blocks.
Literally burst in a flame.
Yep,
The
just
light turned green and you said,
spontaneously combusted, all of that.
review us on iTunes. We're going to start reading a weekly iTunes review. I'm going to just the bad ones. I'm just going to read. There's only like 3.
Oh my gosh.
We're over 1,000.
You're encouraging people now to write bad ones if we're going to read bad ones
No.
on the air.
No. Well, okay, you know what? We're going to read. You're right. We're not going to read bad ones. You're right. Fuck those people.
Right.
Yeah, those fucking assholes.
Thank you.
But review us on iTunes, because every time we review the Titus podcast on iTunes,
A maxi pad gets its wings.
yeah, cling. All right. And now, from sea to shining sea, continent to continent, and sometimes space, it's Bombshell Rae with the Bombshell News. Bombshell?
I was going to throw this out there to tag on to Fetus's failed attempt. Was just randomly that Hillary Clinton was wearing a
Scissor clench.
you know the jackets that she wears and stuff, those awful tweed things.
Yeah, she looks like a waiter with matching pants.
I just thought maybe she was hitting up Marshalls or like TJ Maxx or something.
They're designer.
Armani.
Yeah.
That awful pink tweed jacket that she wore was $13,000.
Yeah, the model
just for the jacket.
Just the shape.
She still looks that bad.
The shapes are modeled after a piece of notebook paper.
Or a freight train.
They're quite square.
Everything is really square. I just thought that was odd. Why are you holding up your
Someone
hand?
keeps. You guys hear that boom? You guys hearing a boom?
It's me underneath in my excitement
Quit
hitting
kicking the table
on accident.
You scissor clenching under there?
Accidente, yes. Whiz, whiz, whiz. A scientist, a well-known scientist, says that he has found definitive proof that God exists.
Oh, really? What?
Which
Really?
is causing sort of a stir because he is a theoretical physicist. His last name is Kaku. He claims to have developed a theory that might point to the existence of God. He is considered, and the reason there's such a stir is he's considered one of the most important scientists of our time, one of the creators and developers
Kaku, the Asian guy. I know
of
this
the
dude.
revolutionary string theory, which is highly
This is a smart dude. This dude's and you know what? He doesn't. He has less geek on him than you would expect. You know, every time I see him be interviewed,
He's cool.
Kaku, he's
Kaku.
cool.
Do you want me to try and explain to you why?
Yeah, let's hear
Or
why
do you
God
want me to
exists.
just say that he said that and you guys can look it up?
No, I want to see.
Okay.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
To come to his conclusions, the physicist made use of what he calls primitive semi-radius tachyons.
That's what I thought it was. That's what I thought he would use.
I figured
I
that
can't spell that.
I'd lose everybody right there.
Yeah.
Tachyons.
Didn't they attack the Borg, the tachyons?
That'd be the Romulans.
That's right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
The tachyons are theoretical particles capable to unstick the universe matter or vacuum space between matter particles, leaving everything free from the influences of our surrounding universe. He did these tests, and after conducting them, he came to the final conclusion that we live in what he calls a matrix. I have concluded that we are in a world made by rules created by an intelligence, he affirmed. Believe me, everything that we call chance today won't make sense anymore. To me, it is clear that we exist in a plan which is governed by rules that were created, shaped by a universal intelligence, and not by chance.
Wow, and this is a well-read that he's got a free. So I was in the airport heading out to Arlington last week. Good gig, fun people, great club. Everybody at the club was phenomenal, and the audiences were great. So I'm there, and this guy comes up to me who I met in San Francisco. I work with. He's a comic, and he's a director and stuff. And I said, "Where are you going?" He goes, "Oh, I'm going to this conference, man. This atheist conference, and we're going to talk about." And they were like, and there was like atheists getting together and organizing. Do you realize that if you organize to not believe in something, that you've basically, the irony that you guys have a big group of people that don't agree?
Don't tell them.
We all believe in nothing. Yeah, let's get together and form a group. Hold on.
Did you book your room yet?
Anyway, we're
going to have dinner at the Sizzler.
He's a great dude. I'm going to do his podcast. But it was interesting how I got this. I am skeptical of skeptics. You know, being skeptical doesn't mean you know everything. It means you actually don't know.
I like healthy skepticism. I like people that are they're looking.
So you
into
like thin in shape skeptics as opposed to fat skeptics.
Can I say that? I don't know if we're allowed to even say that. Are we, Fetus?
I'll allow it.
I feel like you just said the word fat, and he just got stressed again. He started scissor clenching over there. Doing that angry I got bullied nod.
Yeah.
That thing that he does.
Hillary scissor clenched the nomination.
Those are my words.
I added scissor.
He's very stressed.
He is very stressed. So that's interesting. You know, the scientists have been hinting about this for about 10 years. A lot of guys are saying there's something else beyond what we know in science. And they've been hinting about it. They haven't. No one's made that kind of statement. Do you know why? Because I believe in the scientific community, this guy's going to be now marginalized, and he's a badass. This dude is a badass.
Well,
scientist.
that's why it's getting notice, is because people do respect him and believe him, and so I think this is going to cause some people to maybe look in that direction that wouldn't have before, because he is really respected.
On a subatomic level, this table isn't held together by anything.
No, there's more empty space in this table than
right.
not.
So that's phenomenal. So what glues it together then?
Tachyons.
Exactly, and the tachyons are part of a plan, and we live in a
By
matrix.
Jesus.
Yes. Well, yes.
Jesus had 12 tachyons
He did. And they hauled him around.
and kept him together.
Yeah, he did.
Ironically.
And Judas was a free radical.
He was.
He definitely was.
He totally was.
Well, it wasn't free. It cost 30 pieces of silver, but he was definitely a radical.
A sick prank has made a TV star believe that she was kidnapped by ISIS terrorists. This is pretty awesome and terrible at the same time.
Terriful. It's terrible. It's terrible. This is terrible.
Well, the story says terrified, and I was trying to say terrible, and I can't multitask because I have a uterus. The actress was told by the, quote, terrorists to pose for photographs in front of a black ISIS flag and later ordered to put on a suicide vest. This is all part of a sick TV joke. on an Egyptian television program.
Oh man, really not the place to be pulling this prank. I see it in America, funny, haha, sketch, but in Egypt, really.
There's a video online you
Oh,
can go and
no.
watch where she believes she's being forced to speak in front of a camera while the terrorists they hoist a black ISIS flag behind her. Many of the men in the video have their face covered. They really
They went all out,
recreated,
right.
yes.
Right.
And she's crying and sobbing in terror, thinking that because they've got a fake machine gun at her head. I mean, they went all the way. Maybe this was a little far.
Hey, you were so scared. You thought you were being held hostage by terrorists. You poop yourself. They're poop in your pants. We got you so good. Oh, we got you so good, Amanda.
Eventually, one of the men sits down with her on a sofa and explains that she's part of a prank.
And then what happens?
She has more than 2.3 million followers on Instagram and 2 million people, so she's well known over there.
So what happened? What did she do?
Sobbed hysterically.
She hired ISIS and had them all killed.
I
Because
would.
after all, it is Egypt. And end of story.
There's a naked restaurant that opened, by the way. I'm sure Fetus would probably go.
Where is this?
I feel like you're intrigued, right?
I mean, I guess only if there are thin people there.
There you go.
Oh,
exactly.
no, because everyone is perfect and amazing and beautiful just the way they
I know a
are.
lot
Oh,
of
wait,
thin
no, that's
people.
my stance.
I know a lot of
Sorry.
thin people that are on the inside are assholes. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you
I
actually have a
never-
health issue,
You idiots. I never said anything
Idiots.
about fat people. I said shame
14-year-old girls,
with
muffin tops hanging over.
huge, copious amounts.
It looks like cheese coming out of an over-cheesed pizza.
And they're
Over their
why
jeans.
are they in? They're not even like. I'm not like I wear shorts, but they cover like these shorts. They actually are in the shape of a V. It's like a denim diaper, like and what is coming out of the sides of that V? It's not suitable for
Right.
human consumption. It's like that's what I'm talking about. If you're fine with that, God bless. You'll date appropriately or not.
No, he just didn't want to talk smack because he's scared.
What are you scared of?
Fat people.
Is that a rhetorical question or is that an actual question?
No, what are you scared of?
I just don't think that. I mean, it's not. You shouldn't. Why is that offensive to you? Like, why does it even matter?
That I have to look at someone's asshole while I'm trying to eat a sandwich at Chick-fil-A? That shouldn't be offensive to me.
That's kind of specific.
Thank you.
I mean, how often does that happen to you?
The more
In the
specific.
mall, just walk to the mall. I just walk to the mall. Here's, I think every parents. My dad put enough shame, actually too much shame and humiliation in me that I am always constantly thinking. We don't think what other people think anymore. Whether it's in traffic, walking to the mall, in line, no one gives a shit about anybody else, and that's what she's saying. If you look like shit and you have like naked skin pouring over your shorts. Put a longer T-shirt on. That's all she's saying.
It's indicative of a greater problem.
I
Is more
agree.
what I'm saying.
I agree with you.
We're going to call it Trumpism because that dude thinks he's hot.
Me.
I.
Perfect. It's all about me.
And by the way, please listen to the Titus podcast, all about us. Go ahead.
Thank you. Anyway, naked people eating. It's in London. You can go there.
Great.
It's set to open on June 11th.
Wow,
It's-
the most uptight people on the planet.
Yeah,
really?
right?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm not exactly naked. My wrists are showing.
The restaurant is free from what they call the trappings of modern life. This includes phones, electric lights, and even clothing. It holds 42 people, but it has a waiting list right now currently at 44,000. It's only going to be open for 3 months. It's at an undisclosed venue. It's part of its soft opening. People say that
You know why?
Shia LaBeouf pisses me off. He's just doing another stupid art project. Naked
you know-
restaurant. Shia LaBeouf.
It's only 3 months until the health inspector comes in, and then like, okay, close down.
These seats are disgusting.
Well, the last guy really enjoyed the tomato soup.
Yeah. By the way, welcome to Taints. Where would you like to sit?
Gross.
Or it'd be Taints and Brisket. Right, come over here, sit down. Welcome to Taints and Brisket. Hey, what you like? You like some shepherd's pie? No, that's not shepherd's pie. Don't touch that. Can I get cleaned up on this chair right here, this table? The table hasn't been cleaned up.
You know those things that you put on toilet seats? You think they have those for the chairs?
Ew. Naked, just weird. We assume people are going to be gross, though. What if they're just well
It's
showered?
dark. Remember that. It's dark. And you have a waiter. And you're going to eat bangers and mash. right? Like you just would have to be really careful
Sit down,
about
you bangers.
what you put in your mouth first. There's no light. You can't have your phone to shine light. Do you know that there's a restaurant here in Los Angeles that is all based in that? It's called Blind something.
Yeah, you go and it gives you an experience of
I made
being
a
blind.
reservation for us, and you and the two people that we were going with immediately vetoed it. It's a pitch black dining experience where you can see what it's like to be totally blind.
That's what I look for. You know, I always try to figure out, try to experience disabilities. I want to go to ampues. Have you used ampues? Where basically they cut off one of your legs and you see what it's like to
They said that it
hop.
helps you to experience the food in a different way. Probably because the place is really dirty, and
And you're probably not judging the food by its appearance.
definitely not. You're having to go on taste and feel alone. So I think it's interesting.
So you
Speaking
basically
of that,
maybe the chef just sucks at presentation.
a man just got a
Just-
penis transplant.
Fuck it, just turn the lights off. No one's eating it. It tastes great, but no one's eating it. It looks. And what you say in the darkness is Soylent Green is people.
Soylent Green is people. Soylent Green is people.
That's what they.
A man just got a penis transplant, and it was successful.
And it worked.
in Boston.
How does he know it's successful? Wang.
What? That's his name.
Of course it is.
He's in Boston. He's a cancer sufferer, and it was successful. It was a 15-hour procedure.
Wow.
It's the first one. And
Did they
done
put
here.
a good one on him? Like, if you're going to go for it, can you just make it so it's worth it?
He had penile cancer.
Oh my God! Those are two of the worst words to go together. Wow.
The joke I was going to make isn't relevant anymore.
Well, then you don't say that.
You don't say that, but that's a weird.
I'm about to say it anyway.
By the way, here's the thing. I had a joke, but
It's not going to be funny.
due to
No.
the information that came out in the last sentence, the joke that I was currently going to do is not going to be as funny as I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to just pull the rep cord on that joke. You guys continue. What?
Because he wants you to ask him what
No.
it was.
No.
You cock-blocked comedy and then told us. That's really weird.
That was a classic high school Ryan move.
Yeah, that
Just
was,
pulled that one out
that
of the
was,
dumpster.
That was homemade Batman outfit,
yeah.
Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Fetus! Damn you, fetus!
A man in China actually received a penis transplant in 2005. That operation appeared to be successful, but doctors said the man asked them to remove his new penis 2 weeks later because of psychological problems experienced by himself and his wife.
So she thought she was, cheating on him?
I don't know.
He's not your penis. I feel different. That feel like a Randy. Or Philip. I don't remember. I sleep with many guys. Who did?
What accent was that?
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that you can do. You just can't say fat.
Your penis not fat enough. You need no.
Whoa, he's getting nervous. He's getting nervous.
It's the first time I've been told that.
Yeah, so if you want to see us this weekend, Brea,
Are we done?
I have a veterinary appointment, and I was here early today. That's
Okay.
all I'm saying.
So, guys, we're going to be at the Brea Improv. Born with a Defect will be this is its last run at
Brea
Brea.
Improv, Thursday the 9th through Saturday the 11th. So bring your ass out to Brea. Then the next weekend, the 17th, 18th, 19th, we're going to be in Vegas.
Vegas!
At the South Point Casino and Hotel.
And then
And-
July 9th,
And then coming up, July 9th.
filming Born with a Defect. Please come see the show, guys. Born with a Defect. It's going to be a fun night. We're going to have some little bonus stuff in there, I
We
think.
are going to film it.
On the Firm Dad show.
Yes. So come and see us, and then we covered all the other stuff. I think that's pretty good, eh?
Ryan, you want to say anything?
No.
How special? Just to get a little special unit update, guys. Special unit's kicking butt. We actually went through the edit. Right, we're through the second edit now. We're doing a shortening cut. It is getting funnier every time we hit it. I'm really excited.
I'm very glad.
You happy?
I'm happy with it. It's
getting-
great.
Yeah, it's getting. Yeah.
It's really fun.
We're gonna and we're gonna enter it in Sundance. Hopefully, you get into Sundance.
I don't think there's any day we go by editing that you and I don't just like burst out laughing
Yeah,
at
it's
some
ridiculous.
point.
And Billy Gardell is ridiculous in this movie.
So
Billy
funny.
Billy Gardell is a standout, as is Bombshell. You're little. You're every time you hit the screen, you are this ridiculous. It's ridiculous to watch you.
My grandma said she didn't even know it was me.
No.
Also, coming up, you haven't put Kansas City on the website still, and it's been a month. But we are going to be in Des Moines,
That's a firing.
Iowa.
offense,
He should be fired.
Do you know that's the only
June
product?
28th.
That's how keep the doors stay open. Is that I go do shows.
June 29th, Omaha Funny Bones.
So you got to make sure you put it on the damn website.
June 30th.
Kansas City.
Yes.
Okay,
There you go.
so
Improv. Kansas City Improv. And I even emailed him and said, you didn't put Kansas City on the website. And he still didn't do it. So he
Dude.
should be
Do you
fired.
know, here's the thing. I'm going to hear about this all night tonight.
You should clinch him.
Yeah, dude, you're getting scissor clenched after this.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to Titus Podcast. Again, this was an odd one. This one didn't. Welcome to the Unfocused Titus Podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. For myself, Bombshell Rae, and the fetus. Later.
Peace out.
See ya.
He's also stressed. See ya. Did
Yeah,
you hear
you see,
that?
he knows. He knows he's in trouble because he knows you told him 7 times. Yeah, it's great. You know, it's seriously. You know what my son does when he gets a D? This is a D performance. He has to write a book report. You have to write
5 book reports.
Yep.